welcome to the Rising from Falling podcast. My name is Judy Setting, and I am so glad you're here to hear about my Lyme healing method, which teaches 3 R's. Rewiring thoughts, releasing anxiety and chronic and traumatic stress, and reconnecting with self. I created this program because I hailed from Lyme twice. Yeah, another tick found me and I got sick again, but it was a reason to, I think, create this program. And it's based on reading over 200 books that were about 5 S's: science, spirituality, somatic practices, stoicism, and success strategy. So without further ado, here is episode number 100 on Discerning Wisdom. So what if you had access to knowledge that's beyond the usual 5? When I say the usual 5, I mean sight, sound, taste, hearing, and smell. For healing, for Lyme healing particularly. If you're not sure on this, if you could just, for this short amount of time, just have willing suspension of disbelief to ponder this, because for me, this is a really important part of healing. And it's actually possible to receive, I believe, grace-filled wisdom with a capital W. I think we all do. I think we all receive information to help us along the path. It's just that whether or not we're listening, hello, I still have work to do in this department. If you are quite down with this, that's totally fine. Hang in there with me, because I've been there. And until Lyme, and I totally created after a decade with Lyme, I didn't believe this. I didn't think that we received wisdom. And then out of despair, I sort of stumbled upon doing this, and it really helped me figure out a path through. So what got me thinking about this originally was, I had this rock star therapist, and she said to me, the people that really heal, that get to all types of well, they discern holy insights, which made me rethink this, thank God. And it seemed like every book or piece of material that I read where people accomplished incredible feats, whatever the feat was, even if they didn't openly note it or even consciously or aware of it, they had received some kind of wisdom, capital W. Like, take Buzz Aldrin. So he was one of the 2 guys that first walked on the moon. And he took communion actually before Apollo 11's Eagle lunar module, before he stepped out on the moon and like stepping into the vast unknown, right? And here's what he said. He said about this, he said, quote, "I could think of no better way to acknowledge the Apollo 11 experience, which was a culmination of 400,000 people's work, than by giving thanks to God," end quote. Shout out to Aaron Blakemore from history.com for that information. This sounds like a guy to me who's discerned wisdom with a capital W wisely along the way. To do what beforehand seemed impossible, that's the point here. Like, for me, healing Lyme at one point, like, it was impossible to my brain. And so I believe that when we're trying to do something, when we're working on doing something that seems impossible to us, we need the greatest wisdom that there is. So what can you do? What did I do? What would help with discerning wisdom? So cultivating silence. I stumbled upon this really because in the beginning, I started going to a chapel in 2017 when my whole world imploded. I started going to this quiet chapel, and it was the only place that I felt peace, little tiny glimmers at the time in the beginning. And then I loved it so much, I started going regularly. So cultivating silence regularly, daily-ish, in a space, like create a quiet space in your house. For me, I have a bedroom in my house that I go to, where you have that quiet space where you can really pay attention and tune into what crops up from kind of your internal world. And I think it needs that stillness, that quiet, that silence to do that. Now, fast forward to where I am now since 2017, I actually have pretty much a daily divine time, a daily system that I use to help me cultivate that silence. And it's, I hold my grandfather's rosary. You can use, beaded bracelets. You can use whatever you want. I use my grandfather's rosary because I think he's watching over me from heaven. Help me with the ceiling. Helping us with us, helping us right here. So what I do is I just walk in silence outside. Yes, I've even walked loops in my kitchen, and my quiet kitchen. You can do this anywhere. And I just say, be healed, it is finished. 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 Amen. Thank you that I was healed. I just say that over and over. I actually say that 500 times. And in this quietness, first of all, I believe that, I want to embody healing, because there's always more to heal. Even though I've healed Lyme, there's always more to heal. And also, it is finished, as in it's done. Like it's done. It's that we can, in this quiet, like be healed, it is finished, to me just resonates. So then after I do this, after I walk, it's normally outside, I walk and I say these, 100, 500, be healed, it is finished. Then I go into a chapel or to my quiet space in the house, and I say my PMIs, prayers, mantras, and intentions in that quiet. And that's when things float up. I'm not rushing. I'm just taking the time. Is it always pretty? No. Sometimes it's like messy and I don't feel like being there. But I continue to do this because this is where I discern wisdom, where things kind of crop up. And I ask. I ask in prayer. I have shorty, quickie prayers that I repeat over and over. I find this to be, it wasn't originally, but I find this to be soothing and relaxing. And this to me opens the divine connection for receiving and discerning wisdom, capital W wisdom, as in divine wisdom. If prayer's not quite your style, that's totally fine. I think there's lots of ways to connect with the divine. That's just my personal opinion. I'm a spiritual mutt, so I have a very large sense of God. I think God is there for everyone all the time. And that's fine. So you can meditate just on a word that you like be healed, it is finished. That's not a prayer. And when you do this, like you're just asking, to me, that's like be healed, it is finished. Like I'm asking in advance. And we can ask. We can ask for assistance and guidance and aid and support and angels, a Hail Mary pass, whatever it is for whatever wisdom that you're seeking. Ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. And then there's a surrender to it. I know. If surrender makes perfection in you just go funny, I totally get it. Because surrender used to scare the bejesus out of me. But for this, just hold the thought of the possibility of surrender. If you're like, oh, I don't want to surrender because what am I surrendering to? Like it's this great uncertainty and I don't know what I'm surrendering to. If you get nervous about losing control, I totally get it. That's what scared me about surrender, was that it was a lack of control. It helps me to consider that when I surrender, what I'm surrendering to. So when we surrender, what I believe we surrender to is complete love and mercy itself. Not a bad place to surrender to. And that it's in quite capital hands with a capital H. And you can use easy, simple words to surrender. You could say, I surrender this to you, or this is my personal favorite, let me know. This is from Paul Selig's Beyond the Known Realization. Let me know, let me be in my knowing. Let me know. That's a surrender. Let me know. It's a surrender, and it's an ask, and it's a, hey, heads up. And maybe it's more comfortable than something that's more spiritual for you, but let me know. I'm waiting for the wisdom. Let me know. Or if you have another pre-written surrender prayer that you like, that's fine. Your surrender, your way, you get to do it. I just like to keep it easy. And my first surrender, like when I first started surrendering, it was, in a laundry room moment in despair in 2017, like, here, you deal with it because my way hasn't worked for a decade. All the things and $300,000, it hasn't worked. So God, here you go. Not pretty, messy, totally despair-ridden, feeling hopeless surrender. So this isn't pretty. Like, it can just be messy. So what can be wisdom for us? Like, how do you know how do you discern? Like, okay, how do I know, like, what's wisdom? Maybe you hear a song, like you're in the grocery store and you hear this song, and the music's been playing the whole time, but there's like words that jump out to you. Like, I remember being at the harvest market and there was music playing the whole time because they didn't just turn it on and in here. And a sentence came to me. And I remember like holding on, like I remember gripping the edge of the grocery cart. And I remember like stopping and standing there. It was kind of warm in the store. And the words to the song came to me, I believe, to help me discern wisdom. And I kept it kept like coming to my mind in a soft, gentle way, not in like a rigid, like pushy sort of fashion. It can be a phrase that you overhear from the next room or some overheard sentence that you heard from someone. This could be wisdom for you. Like it comes to you softly and you sort of keep thinking about it. That could be wisdom. So sometimes though, like my mind, maybe you don't have this, but sometimes my mind used to feed me fury feel. Okay, this still happens, but not this particular form of fury feel. But does your mind ever, like if you're like me, drone on playing the like, which tick-borne disease is it game? I so get that. Oh my God, I remember. Is it Bartonella? Is it Babesia? I don't know. Maybe it's Lyme. Oh my God, how many times did I play that fury game? Here's something that you can do to help you like move away from that and move into like a more discerning wisdom direction. Little tiny gentle tender steps is the way. And when we're getting this fury foo, here's what you can do. Here's what I do. When my mind is just a dust storm of fear, I say, I am choosing differently. I am choosing differently. If I can say it out loud somewhere, I mean, I still do this. I am choosing differently. It's like I'm telling myself and all the holies and everyone out there, I am choosing differently. I'm not choosing these thoughts. I am choosing differently. And then I might push Audible and start listening to a book on there, like The Obstacles Away. Or I might pull out the Be the bracelet and be healed, it is finished. Be healed, it is finished. Be healed. Like just to switch tracks in my mind to get me into a discerning wisdom direction. You can apply this. I am choosing differently for lots of just different situations, but when my mind is a dust storm of fear and I'm choosing differently, it just helps my mind kind of change to a different track so that I can discern differently and a little bit better. Again, this isn't perfect. This is the imperfect Lyme healing method that works. So you can also keep in mind that this takes practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. And I messed it up and then redid it again. And this, like what I'm telling you, is a culmination of 5 or 6 years of work and discernment and 200 books of reading. And you know what? Healing, you don't have to be perfect to heal. Take it from me. Oh my God, if we had to be perfect to heal, I would never heal. So imperfect in discerning wisdom is totally dandy. It's completely fine. And even grand. I think actually there's beauty in imperfection. Can you hear the dog? Sorry about that. Anyway, this is real life. Lastly, when you hear that song in the grocery store or you hear that phrase, somebody says something to you, and notice, it's always about our awareness. Awareness is always the first step. And notice your body, your dear body, which is full of innate wisdom. Notice your body's responses. Like, if you notice that when you hear something, your shoulders relax, or you feel like just a little bit more calm inside, or your tummy sort of softens, for lack of a better word, or you get a slight, even tiny, microscopic, little mini personal smile, or a yawn when you're not tired, or a sigh. I call them soul sighs, or a sigh. These, I think, are indicators that you're on the right track. I feel like that's divine wisdom. That's what I feel like we're getting from the holies. Like, yeah, that's it. Like I'm telling you, like you feel this peace, even if it's like a smidgen of peace, you feel that peace, and then you know, like, oh, okay, like, start to pay attention to that. Now, this might take a while, but like if you get a peace around an idea, to me, that's wisdom with a capital W. It can be like, that's my yep indicator. Yep. Like, yep. Like, it's like the Holy Spirit saying, like, yep, you're on the right path. Like, yep, that's your path. And equally well, if you get a gulpy swallow, like you are thinking about this thing and you get a gulpy swallow, or you feel tension in your neck and shoulders, or what else? Chest tightness, the wisdom may be, that's not such a fab idea. Or like, nope, or that's not going to serve you. I just really believe after this journey and getting well from Lyme twice that we can all discern wisdom, and that infinite intelligence, God, the divine, all of heaven is there to assist us 24/7, 365. And discerning wisdom, by silence and prayer and asking and surrender and listening to little things that come to mind, and shifting gears with I am choosing differently when you're fiery, and practicing this and noticing your body's responses. Like, all of that, I think, helps you gradually, tenderly, bit by bit, incrementally discern and discern and discern for your path to healing Lyme. I truly believe with my heart of hearts that your healing is possible. And I'd love to hear what you think about this. Check me out on Instagram at Judy Setting. Send me a DM. I'd love to hear what you have to say about discerning wisdom, because I believe the more I learn, the less I realize I know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. And if you would like to subscribe to my newsletter on the Lyme Healing Method, where I share for free, you can do it at www.judysetting.com. So, I, with a reverently bowed head and utter awe for the holies who love to share wonderful wisdom with you, I say goodbye, and I'm sending you all the love beams.